us at 1848 Central Avenue Northeast in Minneapolis or at megasbooks.com.
It's time to experience the amazing flavors of eatlocalminnesota.com. It's your key to unlocking the best local and independently owned restaurants in the Twin Cities. Nightingale off 26th and Lindale is where good times and great flavors unite. Chef Carrie keeps it fresh with seasonal dishes, or savor classics like the Nightingale burger, steak tartare, and irresistible chocolate pot de crème. Explore tasty vegetarian, vegan, and gluten-free options, and enjoy craft cocktails, curated wines, and half-price wine bottles every Monday. Open daily 5 p.m. to 1 a.m. More at nightingalempls.com. Maverick's Real Roast Beef in Roseville sets the bar when it comes to roast beef sandwiches. But let's not forget their other mouthwatering offerings, from Philly steak to turkey bacon avocado, BLT, crispy chicken, fish, brisket, and pulled pork. The menu is a flavor-packed delight. Don't miss out on their delicious variety. Explore the full menu at mavericksbeef.com. Your taste buds will thank you.
Greg Bakun here. Like you, I love good, fresh, delicious food. So I want to tell you about this treasure in Roseville called Maverick's Real Roast Beef. Maverick's has the best roast beef sandwiches I've ever had. Made fresh every order. Add fries or onion rings dropped in the fryer when ordered, and you have a winning combination. Maverick's Real Roast Beef has a lot more than roast beef, so check out their website, mavericksbeef.com, or check out their restaurant on Lexington in Roseville.
Portions of the following program may be pre-recorded.
The views expressed and the opinions given by the individual host, guest, random reptoid, or chupacabra may not necessarily reflect those of AM 950 Radio, its affiliates, or its sponsors. Now, it's time to step into the unknown. There are things people experience but never talk about. A shadow moving in the corner, flickering of the lights, a disembodied voice. We invite you to talk with us, share your story, share your experience, because this isn't just your story, this is our story. This is GhostBox Radio with Greg Bakun.
And this is GhostBox Radio on AM 950, where every night we talk about the paranormal, ufology, Bigfoot, and so much more. My name is Greg Bakun, and we are live from Twin Cities Pride. Wow, huh? What a weekend. How much fun, huh? Okay, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much fun have you been having? 35. Okay, I thought it would be higher, quite honestly. So, okay, there we go. Boy, what a weekend. And we're gonna try to do a lot of different things. First of all, we're not going to do any commercials, because we are on a boycott. It's called a Brett boycott, because every commercial on AM 950 is either Philip's voice or it's Brett's voice, and none of mine have aired at all. I mean, except right before the show, mine aired, and I'm not precious about it, at least. But I hadn't mentioned it to Brett at all. But yeah, only about 300 times, and that didn't change anything. So we're going to be right. I know. So we're going to go commercial free. Meanwhile, just like the old days, we have Adam back at studio in Eden Prairie. Adam, how are you doing?
Doing wonderful. It looks like you guys are having a wonderful day out there. I was out there yesterday, and it was gorgeous. And it looks like you guys have got an even better day rolling today.
Oh my gosh, it's incredible. You should be out here. Oh, but you can't. Oh, well.
No, I can't. And by the way, I haven't eaten yet. And the one spot that your voice is on is Mavericks. I am drooling, dude.
Yeah, no. I only had a, okay, I did eat. So we won't, I won't bore you with the details of the delicious food I had. So we'll let that go for a while. So Adam will be helping us. We'll be hearing his voice throughout the hour, as we normally do. If you have anything you want to talk about, give us a call, 952-946-6205, 952-946-6205. But we can't do this without having a special guest with us. We have the owner of Metamorphosis Connections, owner of Charvinity Fairs. You might have heard Char in other radio shows, such as this one. We have Miss Char Savoy with us today. How are you?
Hey, I'm good. How's everybody doing?
Oh, I'm good. I don't know about you. I mean, well, over here, what do you say? 600 is the number you had for how much you enjoyed Pride? 1 million. Oh gosh, it just from being in here.
See how it went up when you introduced me?
Yeah, well, I guess so. I mean, I know. Trust me, I know. I mean, Adam has always made it painfully clear when Shar would guest host how much lighter the studio was. I don't even know what that means, Adam. I never have. I never will. So, before I said there's no commercial breaks, but there are some folks that I want to thank before we get into stuff, and I'm going to try to get to it again before the end of the program. First of all, general special thanks. You see all these wonderful banners and stuff, and there's a lot of brochures, and oh yeah, the Wasp now. They're all been printed by Minuteman Press in Uptown, and I just want to thank them for, first of all, taking very good care of us, also having just beautiful printed material, putting up with our garbage, just the usual stuff. Thank you, Minuteman Press in Uptown. I also want to thank Gritty Gear Company for these wonderful T-shirts that we have that we're all wearing at the booth. They are beautiful, and if you want some custom clothing, apparel, bags, whatever printed, please go to Gritty Gear Company at grittygearco.com. Also, I want to thank some broadcast sponsors here that's been sponsoring this booth all weekend. The Twin Cities Gay Chorus, Planned Parenthood, and the Minnesota Orchestra. I want to thank all of you for being broadcast sponsors this weekend. And finally, since we're not running any ads, I want to thank my GhostBox sponsors, who without them, I wouldn't be here. Charvinity Fairs, thank you very much. Gritty Gear Company, Megas Books and Herbs, Mavericks Real Roast Beef, Metamorphosis Connections, Minneapolis Trolley Tours, and Psychic Medium, Refined Divine. You all keep me on the air, so folks, blame them. So let's get to it. First of all, anybody who has any paranormal experience, especially those of you walking by and are afraid to come in, if you have any paranormal experiences, come on in. We have a live mic. But also, we're going to be talking to Shar about some stuff. Now, who out here believes in the power of finding feathers on the ground? And I will explain what I'm talking about here, okay? All right. So, if you're walking around and you find a feather, pick it up and keep it with you. I have a bag full of feathers because the color of the feathers have a lot of different meanings. Now, to be fair, finding feathers on the ground around here is not going to be too rare, but this weekend at least. But I found a feather, and it was green.
Oh.
Like I said, it's not from a bird, but
Right.
it's definitely it's definitely a feather, and you can't really count. Like, you can't be like, well, I don't think it came from an animal. If you find a feather, that fits, right?
Yeah, I can.
I think so. So I looked it up, and it's meant that green feather means that you or someone you love is healing right now.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, isn't that nice? So, and then now I wish I could show you the feather, but I stood up over there to get ready for this broadcast. I put it in my pocket, but it still flew away. And so I guess it was meant that I wasn't supposed to have it.
You're done healing.
Oh, that was quick. I like it. I like it because I don't have any health insurance at the moment, so I need all the help I can get. So let's see here. I've walked around all afternoon. I've walked to all the different booths and stuff. I am, as they say in the UK, I am knackered, which means I am tired. I feel bad for Brianna out there because I feel like you're going to be burnt alive. I don't think that's enough. I don't think that's enough to. I mean, can I just say how much I appreciate the fact that you're trying to make it. You look. Yeah, you look uncomfortable. I'm just gonna say I'm just gonna tell you the truth. But yeah, that's better. I mean, yes, I want you to be comfortable. It's more about how I'm feeling about the situation, unfortunately, at the moment. But that's fine. All right. So, anything paranormal, please give us a call. If anyone wants to talk on the mic about paranormal, we can do so. Miss Char Savoy, before we get too far into things, for those who don't know, Char and I partner up on a lot of things paranormal together, events, classes. We investigate places, help people, move spirits on. I'll talk about that in a second. A woman came by today and she's like, what kind of programming does AM 950 have? And we have this little nice postcard that talks about the LGBTQ plus programming block on Saturdays. But then I said, I do a paranormal show at every night, Monday through Friday, 10 p.m. And she goes, oh, wow. She walks away, stops, turns around. She goes, paranormal? I'm like, yes, that's what I said. And she goes, you mean like ghosts? Like, I do, as it happens. I do mean just like ghosts. And she's just like, what about skinwalkers? I'm like, well, what about them, first of all? But yes, we talk about them as well. And it reminds me of what we saw at the Octagon Hall.
Yeah.
Do you want to share what we saw at the Octagon Hall?
Yeah, so the Octagon Hall is out in Franklin, Kentucky, and we went out there and we were out in the field. And there've been lots of claims of like it's an old Civil War museum on the Confederate side, so they've seen lots of different soldiers and other things walking around. And we were out there with what we call a FLIR camera, which is the heat sensitive camera.
Yep.
And so we were looking and we're like, oh look, there's this and this. We're testing. We saw a dog. We're like, oh look, there's the dog, and you could see different temperature differences in it, and it's walking around. And we kind of kept scanning, and then we scanned farther down out in the field, and we saw, oh look, there's another dog, but it looked different. It was solid. It wasn't like the variation colors. And then the next thing we knew, it got up on 2 feet, walked behind a tree, and disappeared. We're like, that happened.
That is exactly what happened.
Yeah.
And that was something.
Yeah, and it wasn't recording, unfortunately.
No, it wasn't.
Because why would it?
And it's really interesting too, because it was over by a cemetery.
Yes.
And that cemetery is where, because of the time, the whatever the period of time that the house built, Civil War, it was a slave cemetery.
Correct.
And I'm not trying to link the two by any means, but the fact that that's the area that it was,
right.
And it just, that whole area had a lot of different types of energies out there.
Yeah, I think it's like you said, it's a whole different era. It's a whole different concept. It's just a different feel that we're not familiar with in this day and time. And I think it was just overwhelming what it felt like. And it was something I've never felt before.
Something else that's interesting there too is that why don't we talk about the whistling?
Oh my God. Okay. So there is this like little outhouse, not like an outhouse, but like a house outside of Octagon Hall. And it's got like 50 feet or so to get from there to the front building. And it's an out kitchen. And I'm assuming because it gets really hot in Kentucky, they cooked outside. And so, but they have just like the path going between the house and this kitchen. And they called it the Whistle Walk. And I was like, oh, that's interesting, until I read the sign closer. And it said that they were required to whistle on their way in because you can't have food in your mouth if you're whistling. And that broke my heart. It was really kind of like, oh my God, like the realization of what had happened kind of kicked in. And then we had a point where we were all sitting in Octagon Hall around the dining room table. And we were in the dining room table. So we asked, what's for dinner? What is anybody cooking anything? And the only EVP we got was somebody whistling, which again was just, it wasn't a happy EVP to me. I was really kind of sad to hear that.
Yeah, those are the type of stuff that we want to hear on any recordings.
Right.
And if you're not quite understanding what this means, it means that they want to that the owners of the house want to make sure that the slave help is not stealing any food.
Right.
And they're probably not being fed well at all. And so that they have to whistle when they come in. It's a very, and that's, as much as we love doing this sort of thing, there are some very sad stories, some sad situations that come with it. And I don't know about you, Shar. I tend to be pulling back from those areas.
I did not like it. It just was not comfortable to me. It's not something that I ever really want to be around again.
No, and that's that's the whole complex. That's the whole building. The house itself, I mean, as a medium, you're trying to pick up energies,
right.
Especially when we're on investigations. This was different, wasn't it?
It was really hard. It was really, really hard because there was energy in there that, like I said, I just never wanted to be around. It wasn't something I've ever wanted to I just never fathomed the concept of it, and I just never really liked it. And so it was really hard to be immersed in it. And for those that know me, I have connections to people on the union side of it. So I think they kind of came in there and they were kind of like, "This is not where you should be." And I'm like, "I know."
There was, as some of you know, I use this device called the Spirit Box, which is the radio that you scan through frequencies and you get spirit responses when you ask questions in real time. And when I was out there was a general out there that I wanted to see if we could get his voice to come through. So, and for those who know, it sounds like it's very loud and annoying, but when a voice comes through, it pops. And so I'm there, and I just and I don't remember his name, which is fine, actually.
Yes,
that's fine. General so-and-so, can you come through for me, please? And through the spirit box, I hear, behind you. And I look behind me, and there's his painting on the wall. So he's there. He's telling me what's going on. He's telling me that he's there. And he's not a good person, but those sort of like ways of communicating with us are pretty incredible, actually. I mean, I don't love the situation, but I love that we are able to get those pieces of communication that way.
Yeah, I mean, it's fascinating what comes out of it, but then again, it's like, how long do you want to be in that energy that's making you uncomfortable?
Yeah, and the thing is too, a lot of our peers, they like to go to like the places that have had really bad things happen. We both have done that as well.
Right.
I don't find a need for that anymore myself.
No, and that's kind of, I think, where we've gotten to. We're not into it for the thrill, the adrenaline, or the because everybody on TV went there kind of thing anymore. We're just there to help, and it's not comfortable to sit in uncomfortableness for no reason.
No, and have bad things happen. I mean, we've talked about this a number of times in the show, where it's very possible that a spirit could attach itself to you if you're not very careful. And so going to the places that have more of a higher threshold of negative activity, you have a greater chance, if you're not careful, to get something to attach itself to you.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, you gotta have your guard up at all times, and if you're already uncomfortable yourself, you've weakened yourself.
Absolutely. And you get some people who go in there and like, bring it on. I wanna experience it. Don't investigate with those people. Don't go near them. Stay away. They let them figure it out on their own if they're not going to listen to you. But you got to be very careful doing this stuff. Now, the woman that I talked about, that she's just like, you do paranormal. She's like, do you go into haunted locations? Once in a while.
I mean, that's kind of where it happens.
Yeah, it has to be haunted to really be paranormal. I should have a T-shirt that says that.
That's a good idea.
It has to be haunted to be paranormal. That's not true, actually. But the thing is about that is the idea that we don't really talk about it. I was trying to explain to her the stuff that we would do, where we're going into locations, we're going into houses where we're not trying to be, even register activity. All we're trying to do is figure out what the spirit wants, what the people who are living there want, and try to figure out how we can make it work. Spirit negotiation.
Right. I mean, and we've talked about this before, and I've used this analogy before. It's kind of like you can watch Ghost Adventures or Ghost Hunters, and you can watch the Long Island Medium, and it's the same thing, but they present it to you completely different.
Yeah.
And it's not. And so if somebody comes and sits with me for a reading, I'm just going to sit and chat, and hey, we're going to talk to grandma, and we're going to talk about all this great stuff. When I go somewhere, I'm like the same thing. I use the same type of connection. I'm not looking to do anything different.
No, and that's something that actually kind of makes me sad. Is this is a big weekend to talk about communities and talk about how everything, how we have to support each other. We really need to be good to each other, and I think the same is held in our communities of paranormal. And the one thing that I just think of is a friend of mine who she really wanted a reading from a psychic medium, and she put herself on a waiting list for Teresa Caputo. And she's like, it's 2 years till they can give me a reading. What you don't understand is you don't have to be on TV to be really good at what you do.
No, not really. And the weird part about that is 2 years from now, your life is going to be completely different. And whatever
Yeah.
you signed up for the reading for isn't going to be the same.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, so that kind of brings me to a point that I think we should talk a little bit about is, I saw like Lily here with Samhain Symposium.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to talk also about how people can find what they're looking for through Metamorphosis Connections, which is your site, and it's index and directory of people with who are great practitioners in not only the realm of metaphysical, but really beyond too, right?
Yeah, so it's a online directory of holistic practitioners and metaphysical businesses that they can list themselves, their services, their classes, all the things that they do, and people can search it and go in there and like, hey, I'm looking for somebody that is massage therapy or yoga, or I want to go take this class, and you can search the directory and you can find those people that are listed there where you can go do stuff.
Yeah. So it's metamorphosisconnections.com.
Mm-hmm.
So please go there, check it out. And then Philip had asked earlier, which, he kind of was wondering if coming to a day like today, you probably close yourself down, right?
Oh God, yeah. I could not be open right now. I'd lose. I'd have to be at the beer garden for a while.
Right. What about you, Brianna? Just shut down. Yep.
Yeah.
We'll see you Monday. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Absolutely. Closed for business today. Yep.
Totally.
Celebrating Pride. Absolutely. Now, I'm going to be honest, folks. This is my first Pride ever. And the reason why it's my first Pride is not for any other reason. And I know Shar knows what I'm talking about here. I am kind of a creature of the night. So I do not go out very often unless it's to haunted locations. And I'm very much a homebody. And so I am very overwhelmed by crowds very often. I have the same thing that Brianna and Shar do. I have to shut myself down. I have to have my energetic walls up. And also people walk too slowly for me. So I just have to kind of be very careful about that. And also knowing that there's reasons why people walk slower. It's okay, Greg, you can wait. But when you're lost in Pride, somewhere in Loring Park, and you really have no idea where you are, you do want to kind of get a move on a little bit, because it's like, will I ever see my loved ones again? I don't know where I am out here. I'm by a pond or a lagoon or a lake. I really
or
don't.
Or a porta potty.
We are by a porta potty now. We sure are. We've been all weekend. The KTNF AM 950 porta potties, and sponsored. They're not sponsored, but and I love it out here. This has been so much fun. And the thing is, we always talk about energies.
Yeah.
And the energy here is so filled with love. It is so what's the word I'm like, accepting.
Yeah. Very community.
Very community, very beautiful. People come up, they just want to say hi. Everyone's saying happy Pride. It's like, yes, happy Pride. This is great. And it's just like, it's a very moving experience for me, actually, because, it's just, you're just around people who just want to all have love and feel good and enjoy themselves. And it's sad that often for a lot of people here, it's only one weekend or a couple times a year that they can feel like they can completely be themselves. And why can't they be allowed to do that all the time? Why can't we all be allowed to do that all the time?
Right. And I'm really happy to see so many people here. And
Beautiful.
It's amazing. And I've just embraced kind of watching all the different people and all the everybody just doing their things. And of course, it's been the biggest I've seen since I've been here. So it's been amazing.
It has absolutely been amazing. It's been so wonderful to be able to be immediately accepted into this wonderful weekend. So thank you all very much for it. It's been an honor to be able to broadcast from here this weekend as well. And I'm so happy that you are here.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
I couldn't imagine doing this without having you here, just chatting. we have an event coming up on Wednesday, don't we?
We do. Woohoo!
I mean, I wouldn't know. It's day 12 of my Facebook suspension.
I know.
So I'm not counting.
Well, I'm trying to help as much as I can.
You are very much so.
Yeah. So Wednesday, July 3rd at 6:30 p.m. over at Billy's Bar and Grill in Anoka, we are doing Ghost Stories and Beyond.
Yep.
And because it's July 3rd, we're going to do patriotic ghost stories.
Yep. And often ones that we've experienced ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And there's one I want to tell about a cemetery outside of Deadwood, South Dakota, that has to do with the Civil War, a Union soldier. I want to talk about that on Wednesday. It's actually, I think it's very beautiful, something that happened to me. And the way that spirit can communicate with us is often so subtle. It's so subtle that I think that's the bit that I really absolutely love. So come on in. Yep. Nope. Now you have to join us.
I think you could bring your spirit box, and if all else fails, we could phone a friend. I might have one.
We could phone a friend. Now, of course, once you come in, you can't leave. I mean, there is that, but we won't talk about that too much. We are live from Twin Cities Pride, and I am so excited to be here. We've been talking about, and for those of you who don't know, who've joined in, who don't know what we're doing here, my name is Greg Bakun, and my radio show, GhostBox Radio, airs Monday through Friday at 10 p.m. It's a paranormal show. We talk about the paranormal. We talk about all the ufology, Bigfoot, all the other things, but we also spend a lot of time talking about metaphysical healing. We talk about taking care of yourself and doing it from an energetic level as well.
Absolutely, because everything in the paranormal and the metaphysics is energy.
And everything in paranormal metaphysics is the same.
Totally.
There is no different. They're just different names. One is, unfortunately, and I'm going to steal what you've said. This is all sharp. You can have a show that you have two of the same shows on TV. One can be Teresa Caputo, where it's all love and light and trying to help people. The other is Ghost Adventures, where it's, everything's a demon and everything is scary. At the end of the day, they're the same show.
Yeah.
Everyone's reaching out to spirit. Everyone's doing everything the same way. They're just using, like I do, devices perhaps, but there's the shock factor because there's people who love the shock factor. And then there's those who just want something beautiful.
You know what the difference is?
We're not on it?
Hair gel or hairspray.
Yeah, right? Oh my gosh. I've never watched Teresa Caputo before, but when we went out to the McIntyre Villa, where everyone came back sick. I don't know if everyone made it back, but that's another story for another day. But I ended up seeing an episode of Long Island Medium, and I was like, damn, that's some hair.
Yeah.
That is truly some hair. Wow. I was just like...
Her motto is the higher the hair, closer to God.
Yeah, I mean, did she say that?
Yeah.
I believe it. I believe it. It is truly like... You ever see that scene in Empire Strikes Back where from behind Vader's helmet comes down? I can envision that's her every night, where it's her hair.
It's more like the helmet from Spaceballs.
Right. Darth Vader's helmet is way too small for that to be an accurate comparison. So, no, that is that's funny. Also, you've been partnering with the French Quarter medium, Maria Shaw.
Yes.
And that you've been doing these wonderful, absolutely wonderful fairs, the Sharfinity fairs. And, a lot of people ask me, how do I know, if I want to do some energy work, how do I know who to talk to? How do I know what to do with? Your fairs really gives people the opportunity to figure it out.
Yeah, so it's a whole weekend, Saturdays and Sundays. It's over in Bloomington at the DoubleTree by Hilton Minneapolis Airport. Maria Shaw is world-renowned astrologer, psychic medium. She comes in and does lectures. She also brings amazing crystals from Tucson. But then I handle the fair part of it with the psychics, mediums, and healers, palmistry, tarot cards, whatever. And they all come together and they offer their services at a fair rate. And they're there all weekend long, and it's so much fun. And you can meet lots of great people. Even if you just want to ask people, well, hey, what is it that you do? Because you hear about it, but you don't know who to ask. You can ask them.
Yeah.
So it's a great time. I'm excited. The next one's coming up on July 27th and 28th.
Yeah, and come on in there, and you always do stuff that makes it very personalized, like including the giveaways. It's a very pro practitioner situation as well, where everyone, the people who are coming in, the attendees, and also the practitioners, everyone's getting something out of it that day. It's very fair.
Yeah, so the practitioners will come and they'll give me 25 items for both Saturday and Sunday, and we stuff bags full of stuff for you. And there's
Yep.
over 20 practitioners, so you're going to get like a bag full of goodies. There's crystals and other stuff in there, so you can get that when you come in. And then there's this giant gift basket that if you have this loyalty card, you see 5 people throughout the weekend for their services, you get entered in the drawing, and you get this basket that's worth like $300 worth of product.
Nice, very nice. That's every time. It's a lot of fun. Check it out. To get more information, go to charvinitydfairs.com.
Yes.
And there's ways to sign up for all the stuff that you can take part in. And go through the website, I would suggest as well, because there's just so much on offer.
Yeah, we have everything on there, the whole agenda, how to get tickets for Maria and Jill's classes. All the practitioners will be there, what they have to offer, how to get a hold of them for pre-booking. And I believe if you pre-book with a practitioner and prepay, you can get a free pass to Maria's classes. She's got some good ones coming this time.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So yeah, please check it out. And some of her past classes, just so happened the last one we did in May was the what was that, the luckiest day of the year, whatever that was, where you want to set your intentions for the year, and it was how to make the best use of those situations.
Right,
basically.
right.
So yeah, definitely please go check out charvinityfairs.com. Now, Katie from the Home Cringe Show, Yarlow Home Cringe Show, she had mentioned the Minneapolis trolley tours during her episode. She brought it up. I want to bring it up that you brought it up. I appreciate it. First of all, who wants to go on a trolley tour with us? Who would go on a Minneapolis trolley tour, right? Let's fill up a trolley. You can go beforehand too. I don't think they would mind that. And it goes through Minneapolis, downtown Minneapolis, goes out to other areas just around Minneapolis. It talks about the history, but it also talks about some of the dark secrets of Minneapolis. And who doesn't want to hear about that? I mean, quite frankly, who doesn't want a bit of gossip? And Chad and I and Angie, we all did that a few weeks back. It is phenomenal. I mean, you're gonna
You
love.
didn't take me.
No, we didn't. And I know Adam is steaming back at the station. Another one who we didn't take with. But
Very much.
yeah, no, we didn't take anybody. All right, none of you came. None of you were invited. But we should do it now, right? We should do it now. Get a GhostBox trolley going.
I say you have to buy me Mavericks before we go.
No, we can make it everything. Stop off at Megas. We'll get some books. We'll read them on our drive out to Mavericks. And yeah, let's do it all. Let's get it all. And they also do a true crime tour. And they do, this is kind of what got me, a wine tour.
Dude.
Right? I mean, why don't we combine it all? Why don't we combine wine, true crime, paranormal? That's my life, actually.
Stick a fork in me.
We call that a Monday night around my house. But then 300 Clifton, the haunted mansion, not a house, not an abode, not a place to stay. I'm talking mansion that has been completely redone. The tour, the history of the mansion, the secret passages that they take us through. And I don't mean like the haunted mansion at Walt Disney World. I'm meaning a real legit place. And then they have, not that I'm interested in this sort of thing. They have like some drinks in the basement a little bit, but that's neither here nor there. And they have Gertrude, the resident spirit. So when we're at my house, I have Jack Daniels, the resident spirit, but that's once again another story altogether. Yeah, let's do it. Let's get something together. Let's get a bunch of people together and do this, because they do a lot of. It's a pretty incredible tour. It's a lot of fun. So
I'm excited.
And do it in the summer. The back of the trolley has open like windows, like completely. So it's like it's really comfortable in there, and it still has the air conditioning running. So we're also air conditioning the street as we're going down it. But
We're glamour trolley.
it is a glamour trolley. Yep, it's like we can't handle not having air conditioning, and I do mean that. I can't handle it actually. So, yeah, there we
Sounds good.
go. There we
Let's
go. All right. Maybe we'll get Mavericks to get us some sandwiches or something. I don't know.
All right.
I don't know what else to say about that. It was pretty. It's pretty awesome. So, other than that, I mean, we are toying with an idea. Hope you don't mind me saying this. Well, we're toying with an idea for Ghost Stories and Beyond, maybe in the next couple months, where we might try to do a CE5 experiment.
Oh yeah, I forgot. I was like, dude, I don't know what you're talking about.
Normally I don't either. Anyone know what a CE5 is? All right. Why are you all scared looking? You won't get hurt unless you take part in it with us. But Brianna knows doing an event with us doesn't always end well. She had to leave. It was much. They overwhelmed her over there at the Masonic Lodge. You got to get some big bells for the CE5 experiment. That's all I know.
Yeah.
So anyone ever hear of the film Close Encounters of the Third Kind? What's in Close Encounters of the Third Kind? Aliens. Close Encounters of the Third Kind, CE3. CE4 is a little bit more. CE5, let's bring them to us. Let's see if we can get them to see them. Let's see if we can see something in the sky. Let's see what we can do to actually make contact with them. And we want to do it.
Yep.
Who's in? I'm so excited. All the cheap equipment is falling over. So what happened here, Brett? It's paranormal. The only possible explanation for anything going wrong during the show. Nothing to do with me at all, ever. It's all paranormal. They just shrunk it. I mean, we could always say it's Adam.
Might as well. Everyone else does.
There we go. The sad response. I'm sorry. The sad Adam response. Adam.
Yes, sir.
Why don't you tell us a little bit? Because we didn't really talk about this with you, because we're talking about paranormal experiences. You've done an event with us. Unlike Brianna, you made it through alive.
Yes.
You didn't leave in a casket. So do you want to share a little bit of, because we have folks here from our station who don't know you that well, and I think they'd like to know some like the experience you had when you did the event with us, which was September of last year, right?
Right. We did the Grant House and we did the Masonic Lodge there in Rush City.
Yep.
And the first night we started out in the Grant House. And again, this is, like Greg had mentioned, my first paranormal investigation ever. So we get into the first room and it's a small group. Initially, it's Greg, my wife, Danielle, myself, and a woman named Sarah Beck. Excuse me. And Greg leaves the room, and the entire time I've got a recorder going. At one point, we hear like something is moving in the room. And about that time, Greg comes back through the door. So we have Greg go back out the door, come back through the door, and it's not the same noise. So we kind of like, okay, this is kind of neat. And we go through the rest of the investigation in that room. And then as the night goes on, you switch rooms and go into different areas of the building that Greg is having you investigate. So by the time we get to the end of the evening, I'm sitting in my bed there at the Grant House, just listening to an EVP recorder that I had going the entire time. And an EVP recorder is nothing more than a digital recorder that will record a voice. I just leave it going because the thought is that we can hear them on the playback. So as I'm sitting there, I think maybe 10 minutes into the first room we were at, we caught an EVP that introduced herself to us. As we're saying, hello, my name is Adam. Hello, my name is Danielle, so forth and so on. We got a hello and couldn't quite make out the name that they were giving. But my very first investigation, very first room, I got an EVP. Later on in that recorder, we get another word that says potatoes. Can't figure out why it says potatoes out of everywhere. But when we went back and reviewed everything, Sarah had asked, what is the main crop this time of year here in Rush City? Turns out it's potatoes. And in the bottom of that building and many of the other buildings in Rush City, it is a dirt basement where during the fall and winter time, they would do what? Grow potatoes. So we got 2 intelligent responses on my first ever paranormal investigation. I'm hooked. As always, go to charvinity.com to look up more of their events when they're going to be putting this together. Because if you've ever wanted to do a paranormal investigation, do it the right way. Go out with Greg and Char. I'm telling you, it will change your life.
Well, I remember I think you were charged for like 3 days.
I
Right.
damn near went to your room that you were staying in to pound on your door to have you listen to that EVP, but it was like 2 a.m., so I decided not to.
We were staying in the most haunted room in the building that night, and that was the double room. Kyle was staying in the room. We're different parts, and there were many times I thought that Kyle had left the room, the hotel room, because the door would open and shut. He was in there the whole time. So, it's like, welcome to the Grand House.
Right.
So, and another place that we have paranormal activity is AM 950 station. We've had a lot of paranormal activity there.
Yeah, there's been plenty of paranormal activity that's happened here, and especially if you want to, in our live broadcast we did back on Halloween,
Yeah.
Char was getting responses, and then we were getting responses on a REM pod I had brought to the station.
If I'm not mistaken, Char had said, can you make the REM pod go off at AM 950? And it did.
Yes.
Yes.
That's
and
exactly when it happened. It was great.
It was
scared me, but it was great.
It was pretty amazing. And just know we are planning to do another live paranormal investigation this Halloween. If fingers crossed that we can get into a place that I mentioned previously in the episode to do it, but we'll find somewhere.
We will.
Yeah, we'll go somewhere.
That's how we roll.
Maybe AM 950. Maybe we'll wait till Philip does his show and see what comes up. Now, we haven't had much paranormal activity. I hate to say it until I showed up again. I seem to bring it with me. It does happen all around. My house is very haunted. Stuff is flying all the time in my house. It doesn't bother me at all. Voices. A great piece of paranormal equipment is a cat or a dog, because they will look at something that's like, is that a bug? No. What are you looking at? Why? Hello? It's pretty incredible.
Yeah.
I love it. It's a lot of fun.
It is.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, and hopefully I should have asked you to put a REM pod in the control room today when we're doing this.
Oh, that would have been a good idea.
Yeah,
That actually would have been a great idea, but I didn't even think about grabbing it. And normally I do, but it's the witching hour. I know it's 4:05, the old school show. I didn't really think about it during the day.
No, you had one or two things going on over there.
Just a few.
You had a couple things happening today, and didn't help that you had to figure out when the parade was going to start because of all that BS out there. So yeah, no, absolutely. So yeah, I mean, we always have a lot of stuff going on, and that's kind of, that should be par for the course. Sometimes we'll even have it during the episodes. Like I'll be interviewing somebody, and there was the one, and I don't think you're on this one, Adam, but I did the one where I spoke to, I can't remember her name, that she ran the jail down south, and she was talking about some spirit, and all of a sudden we got an EVP during the broadcast. Like we heard somebody's voice.
Oh yeah,
on
it
the
was
air.
Scott County Jail. The
Miranda Young, I think it is.
Yeah,
Miranda
paranormal
Young.
bikers. Yeah.
Yeah, paranormal bikers, and we were talking, and you hear a voice, and we go to break, and I come back, and I'm like, Miranda, did you not hear a voice that wasn't either of ours? And she's like, I thought I heard something. And we went back, and we're like, we don't know who that is.
That's so cool.
We don't know who that is or what that is. I mean,
or there was the night of the black mass, the two instances in a row with the black mass in the secondary studio when we had mentioned the word concentration camps.
Yeah, the studio that Philip records in.
Yeah, the black mass moving from what be my right and left. Yeah, 2 nights in a row.
Yeah, sometimes you talk about stuff, and we're not trying to do it purposely. Sometimes you talk about stuff, and it doesn't like what you're talking about, and it will come in and try to intimidate, impress, oppress, and that's just how it goes. I mean, that's just and sometimes being a paranormal investigator is about being able to kind of stay centered, stay focused, stay grounded, right?
Yep. Totally. You have to. And that's where the metaphysical part comes into it.
100%. And so we offer a class.
We do.
And it's about how to do paranormal investigations. We're not here to say people who offer other classes don't do it right over. Just our class, we like to really go from beginning to end of how to do a paranormal investigation, best practices, but also the stuff that seems to get forgotten all the time, such as how to stay grounded, how to do things that will protect you during the investigation.
Right. Clearing your energy, knowing when it's off, watching each other, tapping into your intuition, all these things. It's just kind of so much that we had to break it into 6 different classes.
Yep.
And even to sit and and we figured this out halfway through, how many classes did we go through? Also, like, hey guys, can you give us your evidence? And they're like, we don't know how.
Yeah.
And we're like, oh well, we'll add class number 6. How do you get evidence off of the equipment that you've done and cut it down? So
that is so true, and we try to fit as many aspects into it as possible, and I'm really proud of it.
Me too, and I think it kind of came out of the whole concept of how many years had we been doing this? At least 13 years each. And we're like, I wish I would have known. I wish somebody would have told me. I wish there was more information about this. And we tried to give all of that in that class so that people had all that information and you could go do what you need to do. But then on the best part about this, though, is we take you on an investigation afterwards for the weekend. And we have become such a great community of friends in this group. It has been amazing. We just all road trip to Kansas. Oh no, thank you.
No, thank you.
So we just went on a road trip to Kansas for a weekend with the group, and so that was kind of cool and fun.
Oh yeah.
So there's always cool things that we're doing, and we're always trying to give new experiences, and that group just becomes the community, and we just keep going with them. We just keep doing things with them, and that's the best part. It's not a one and done. You're in the group now.
Yep. It's just like the Godfather films, minus the killings.
Right.
I mean, I haven't done any. I shouldn't speak for you or the others, but
well, we haven't seen Kyle in a while.
That's true.
Yeah, well, we don't talk about Kyle anymore. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, Shane does drive around with body bags.
He does. Shane, yeah. Another one we don't talk about either. So yeah, I mean, that's the cool thing about it is that community that because we want people to be able to continue to do it right and also rely. The big part of paranormal investigation is the ability to be able to know that someone has your back.
Right. And I think that's kind of the whole thing too, is it's like, you look at this community out here today, everybody just wants to be a part of something. Yep. And when it comes to paranormal, everybody's like, I don't feel alone anymore. Somebody gets it. Somebody understands. It's just another community where people allow you to be you. And I think that's beautiful and wonderful.
I mean, to your point, how many times have we been to like Paracons and other places or even just privately with other people who found out what we do, and they tell us their story and we're just like, okay. And they're like, you don't think I'm crazy? You don't think that? Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Well, and if I can just give a selfish little plug out there to our good friend Ken Boggle.
Yeah.
And, Living for the Dead is out on Hulu, and you watch it, and it's about this community of queer investigators going out there and talking to paranormal, and they come at it with the same attitude as like, you're misunderstood, we're misunderstood, let's have communication and help each other. And it's beautiful, and it really warmed my heart to watch that show, and I'm so proud of him and to be a part of that.
If you want to watch a very good paranormal show that has a great social commentary, watch Living for the Dead on Hulu.
Yeah.
It's incredible, and it's we both know Ken. You've taken classes from Ken, and he is so authentic and so wonderful.
Yeah. it's one
Before
of
we
my
get any
favorites.
further, Shar, I don't want to forget this. Why don't we talk about your daughter real fast?
Oh my gosh. Okay, it's kind of funny because it came up in my memories that 10 years ago was the last time I was here at Pride. And I was like, wow, it's been that long. But 10 years ago, I brought my daughter and my son out here. And my daughter, she ended up hooking up at the Minnesota Vixen table,
Yep.
which she ended up playing for the Minnesota Vixen for a while, where she met her wife, Whitney. And so now, when she was in her master's degree for political law and advocacy, Whitney gave birth to Logan. And they were legally married, but Nikki still had to adopt Logan. And so Nikki, for her senior project, decided she was going to make a law, and she developed Logan's Law, which was having same-sex parents not have to go through the adoption process through surrogacy. And it got shelved during COVID, obviously, but just on May 15th, Governor Walz signed it into a law, and it is now a law. So Logan's Law is official, and I am so proud of her. I mean, and I'm so proud of her. She's fantastic. And I asked her what she was going to do next, and she's training for a triathlon. So this child does not stop. So,
Yeah.
But yeah, so that law has passed. So she is out there working hard. She campaigned. She went to Washington. She has been at the Capitol relentlessly. So
How amazing, how wonderful.
It's brilliant. I mean, and Logan is just a firecracker. She's a little cutie. She's 6 now.
That's so wonderful. And it's like you can't even ask you a question like, how proud are you? It doesn't even. It's off the charts.
I think when we were in Kansas, it was going through the Senate, and I was like on my iPod and my iTablet, like staring at it, like in between everything. Like, did they do it yet? Did they do it? I was just waiting for that moment. It ended up being like 2:30 in the morning.
Yeah, no, and that because was it delayed one day or something at one point, or it just didn't happen? Like it was even seemed like it was.
Sounded like it was going to get delayed, but it didn't, and it ended up being like early morning hours, and I had slept through it, and it went through the Senate at the time, and it went through unanimously.
Yeah,
which was amazing. And then just 3 days later, Walt signed it. So, or a week later, I think.
And it's all it's doing is keeping families together.
Totally, because
That's
it's
all it should be.
expensive. I mean, going through that adoption process for your own child, it's thousands of dollars. It's psychological evaluations. It's so much to go through, and there's no reason for it. The fear was if Nikki had to take Logan to the doctor before she was adopted, they could refuse care, or they could take Logan away. Or if something happened to Whitney, she would lose her child.
Wow.
Yeah.
How wonderful, though, that she persevered.
She did.
How many years did it take?
It took about 5 years, but with
Yeah.
COVID in there, it kind of got shelved for about 2 years because they just weren't doing a lot of stuff. But yeah, so I'm very, very proud of her.
As you should be. And that's I think that's the theme. That's the purpose of this weekend should be every day, but let's all celebrate.
Yeah.
Celebration going.
Families matter.
Families matter. Once again, see everything that Shar is doing. Check out Sharvinity.com, metamorphosisconnections.com, Sharvinityfairs.com. How many damn URLs do you have, for goodness sake?
That might be it for now.
How many websites do you need? I have one Facebook page, and they took that away from me.
I know.
Anyway.
I had to make up for your downfall.
Right. And just as a reminder to everybody, special thanks to Minuteman Press and Uptown for helping us with this broadcast this weekend. Gritty Gear Company for the T-shirts. Our broadcast sponsors, the Twin Cities Gay Chorus, Planned Parenthood, the Minnesota Orchestra, and also my sponsors. I just want to shout out Sharvinity Fairs, Gritty Gear Company, Megas Books and Herbs, Mavericks Real Roast Beef, Metamorphosis Connections, Minneapolis Trolley Tours, Psychic Medium, Refined Divine. Now, I'm taking the week off, all right? So deal with it. And I'll be back because I have to figure out my Facebook and stuff, and I'm taking everything off for the 4th of July week. I'm going to be back live Monday, July 8th, as we have on Moon Girl. We're going to be talking about all sorts of amazing things. I can't wait. Shar, my goodness, this goes by too quickly.
It totally does.
Thank you so much for coming out here. Adam, as always, thank you very much.
Thank you for having me, as always.
And Brett, thank you for barely getting the board to work correctly. And Chad, for having me out here. we're going to be back on July 8th, and Moon Girl is always very interesting. We're also going to have talking about the fake moon landing, or is it fake, and other great things. We'll be back. Everyone have a safe 4th of July.
Imagine over 7,000 voices from around the globe coming together in harmony in Minneapolis. This summer, Gala Choruses Festival 2024